All right, let's talk about money, but probably not in the way you're used to thinking about it. We're going to completely forget about all those get rich quick schemes because today we're focusing on something so much more powerful and honestly way more achievable. And that's a state of real, true financial calm.
I mean, this quote just, it gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? You know, that constant worry about money, it's not actually about spreadsheets or stock tickers. It's this deeply personal, psychological thing. This state of constantly, and I mean constantly, worrying about what you don't have. So let's get really clear about what the problem is here. It's not just a number on a screen. No way. The real cost, the thing that really gets you, it's that constant low-grade background stress. It's like a hum of anxiety that's always on, and the mental exhaustion that just drains you, day in and day out. And look, this is what that stress actually looks like in real life. How many of these hit a little too close to home for you? It's that 2 a.m. stare at the ceiling session worrying about bills. It's sitting in a meeting at work, totally distracted because you're doing mental gymnastics trying to figure out if your paycheck is going to stretch. And it's that deep, soul-crushing exhaustion that a good night's sleep just can't touch, because the problem isn't physical, it's in your head.
Okay, so this brings us to the most important idea of this whole explainer. We have to completely reframe our goal. Seriously, this isn't about becoming wealthy in that traditional sense. It's about achieving something called financial calm. It's a state of mind, a place where money just isn't the main character in your stress story anymore. Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. I'm sure you know people, maybe you are people, with a big salary who are just stressed out all the time. But financial calm, it feels completely different. It means actually sleeping soundly through the night. It means that when you get a surprise bill, it's just an annoyance, not a full-blown catastrophe. It means having options. That feeling, right there, that's the real prize we're after. So the big question is, how do we actually start building this? Well, the very first step, and this is completely non-negotiable, is creating what we're going to call a calm buffer. Just think of it like psychological breathing room. This isn't about getting rich, not yet. This is about building a wall between you and life's little emergencies. Okay, let's just imagine a super common scenario. You're driving, your car starts making that awful clunking noise, and the mechanic hits you with the news, that'll be $500. For so many people, that exact moment is just pure cold panic. And this is where that buffer changes everything. Without it, that $500 repair isn't just a bill, it's a full-blown crisis. You're panicking, you're probably swiping a credit card and going into debt. But with the buffer, okay, it's still annoying. Nobody wants to spend that money, but it's just an inconvenience. It's a problem that you can actually solve. And that right there is the incredible power of even a small financial cushion. Now, once that buffer starts to grow, say to the point where it covers about 3 months of your expenses, something incredible happens. It's like a switch literally flips in your brain. You finally get to move out of that constant survival mode, where every single decision you make is filtered through fear and scarcity, and you get to step into growth mode. And that's where you can finally start thinking beyond just making it to the next paycheck. Okay, so once you have that first layer of insulation, that's when the real momentum starts to build. Now we can focus on the next 3 big building blocks. And these are huge because they all work together in this amazing positive feedback loop: control, getting rid of debt, and building confidence. And when I say control, please don't think I mean some miserable, restrictive budget where you can't buy a coffee. It's so much simpler than that. It's just awareness. It's about looking at your spending for 1 month, not to feel guilty, but just to see where the heck it's all going. That simple act of seeing gives you the power to make intentional choices, instead of feeling like your money just vanishes into thin air. Next up is debt. And we're talking specifically about enemy number 1, high interest debt, like from credit cards. I mean, it's a total trap, right? It's sold as convenience, but it's really just slow financial suffocation. And getting rid of it, that's not just a math problem you solve. It is a massive psychological victory. It feels, just like this quote says, like a huge weight has been lifted off your chest, and you can finally take a full, deep breath. And see, this is how that amazing confidence loop starts to spin. It all begins with gaining that little bit of control. You use that control to start chipping away at debt. And let me tell you, paying off even one credit card, that is a huge win. That win builds real earned confidence. And that confidence, it creates momentum. It makes you want to get another win and another. And pretty soon, you're not just the person that life happens to anymore. You're the person who's making things happen. But when you boil it all down, all of these strategies, all of these steps, they all rely on one single thing: your mindset. Yeah, the math is important, sure, but your psychology, it's everything. How you think about money will absolutely 100% determine the results you get in your life.
So I want you to really think about this for a second. Where do you fall on this spectrum? Someone with a scarcity mindset, they see saving money as depriving themselves of something today. But someone with a growth mindset, they see saving as building power for their future self. Scarcity says investing is too risky. Growth says investing is buying my future freedom. And here's the bottom line: your mindset is the engine. It's what drives every single one of your financial behaviors. All right, so let's get super practical. We've talked a lot of theory, but how do you actually start? What do you do tomorrow? I'm going to be honest with you, these first steps, they are not glamorous at all. Nobody's going to make a TikTok about this stuff, but they are the absolute essential foundation for everything else. Here it is. This is your starting line, right here. I need you to forget about crypto, forget about trying to pick the next hot stock, just for now. Your first mission is to save your first $1,000 for that calm buffer. That's it. That is your only goal. And while you're doing that, you're going to track your spending for a month to get that feeling of control. And then you're going to take aim and attack any high-interest credit card debt with everything you have. This is it. This is the unsexy work that makes all the difference. And that's really the whole point, isn't it? You just can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. It doesn't work. All that exciting stuff you want to get to, investing, maybe building other income streams, planning for retirement, all of it becomes not just possible, but so much more effective when you're coming from a place of peace and control, not from a place of panic and desperation. So I'm just going to leave you with this one question to think about. When you finally get rid of that constant low-level hum of financial stress, what becomes possible for you? What new opportunities will you suddenly start to see? What kinds of calculated risks could you finally afford to take? Seriously, what kind of life could you build for yourself? Because I promise you, the possibilities are absolutely transformative.